surface, this was a man who had conquered grief and turned pain into an empire. But as the montage fades, the tone shifts to a stark confession from an anonymous industry insider. When Pac and Big died, Puff didn't slow down. He sped up. He thought he was untouchable. That's when the darkness got creative. We're then introduced to the 1999 New York nightclub shooting, where Natanya Rubin claims she was shot in the face during a melee involving Diddy and then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez.
That it was P. Diddy who shot you.
I was standing by the front door. I watched the entire thing out. I had no reason to believe that it would escalate to a shooting. It was just male machismo and bravado at first. A lot of pushing and shoving, raised voices, hands. But then I saw them reach in their waist and draw from their hip. And I knew. I instantly turned to my friends and told them, be careful, watch out. And when I turned back, I know, and I've said over and over, I've heard the voice of God said, you are about to be calm down.
The episode plays chilling courtroom footage where Rubin describes chaos, fear, and the belief that Diddy's entourage tried to silence witnesses afterward. Diddy denied wrongdoing, but the incident marked another moment where violence shadowed his success. Next, the doc revisits a lesser-known but telling event, Diddy's 1999 attack on music executive Steven Stout, over a disagreement about how Diddy was portrayed in a Nas music video, Hate Me Now. Combs allegedly stormed Stout's office with bodyguards and beat him with a champagne bottle. Police reports confirmed that Diddy was arrested and later settled out of court.
And in that video, they had Puff and Nas on the cross. And I believe Puff pastor at the time, I don't know if it was Hezekiah Walker. He had a pastor that used to come by the studio quite often, I guess maybe give him some wisdom or something like that, talk to him. And so when that video came on, once we viewed the video, I believe the pastor said that it's wrong for him to make a mockery of Jesus on the cross. You're not supposed to do that. Basically what he was saying. So Puff didn't want that video to be aired for that simple fact. And they still aired the video. And that was Steve Stout's project there, I believe, with Nas or whatever was going on. And that's why they went to and did that to Steve Stout.
The footage is paired with commentary from former Bad Boy employees who describe the moment as a snapshot of who he really was. One says, that wasn't business. That was ego and fear. He wanted everyone to know he was still the alpha. Then the tone grows even darker. The episode shifts to the Making the Band era, featuring Aubrey O'Day, one of the few former artists to speak publicly and on camera about what she endured. O'Day recounts in tears how she was allegedly sexually harassed, manipulated, and later blacklisted after rejecting Diddy's advances.
You realize the burden that puts on my soul for the past year, the weight of that man and his I will never get up from under it.
She didn't take that information and say, and this happened to me. I think that what you see in the film is her struggling to digest, did this happen to me or not?
She claims he weaponized contracts and edited footage on Making the Band to portray her as difficult before firing her in retaliation. The doc reveals a newly unearthed affidavit from 2012 suggesting that O'Day may have been assaulted while unconscious during a private gathering in Miami. The document, never before seen publicly, appears on screen for only a few seconds. Her lawyer submitted this but withdrew days later. The case never went forward. O'Day's voice trembles as she says, "People warned me, don't cross him, don't tell your story." But silence only protects power. From there, the reckoning builds toward its emotional and moral centerpiece, the Cassie Ventura story. The segment unfolds like a timeline. Her signing to Bad Boy in 2005, the grooming, the romantic involvement, and finally, the 2023 lawsuit that detonated the narrative around Diddy's public image.
Bombshell lawsuit, Cassie alleges the Bad Boy Records music mogul, throughout their 10-year relationship, physically and sexually abused her.
I was no longer going to be embarrassed. I am not the only one. I'm going to stand up.
Using voiceovers, texts, and legal filings, the documentary reconstructs Cassie's claims. Years of manipulation, physical abuse, and sexual coercion, including allegations that Diddy hired a male sex worker named Clayton Howard for forced encounters. Former assistants recall Cassie's fear, saying she was treated like an employee and a possession. One chilling moment features an old behind-the-scenes clip from the Love album sessions, where Cassie looks visibly distant while Diddy jokes to the crew, "She's under contract, baby, ain't she?" The audience sits in uneasy silence. Cassie's attorney appears briefly, explaining how the lawsuit wasn't just about assault, it was about ownership. Diddy's legal team denied every allegation, calling it false, vindictive, and money-driven. But the doc contrasts his denial with footage of his rapid settlement within 24 hours, prompting one expert to ask, if it was all lies, why end it so fast? Next comes Lil Rod's story, one of the most disturbing segments in the entire series. A young producer who worked closely with Diddy on the Love album, Off the Grid. Rod claims he experienced drug-fueled manipulation, hidden surveillance, and intimidation tactics during months of studio isolation. He describes rooms with cameras in every corner, constant pressure to indulge in Diddy's parties, and the emotional toll of being gaslit into compliance. The documentary flashes excerpts from Rod's civil suit, filed in early 2024, which accuses Diddy of creating a culture of coercion inside his own home. Rod's interview ends with one chilling quote. He wasn't just recording music, he was recording everything. Just when the episode feels like it can't go any further, director Alexandria Stapleton drops a revelation that stuns both audiences and critics alike. Investigators allegedly discovered that Diddy filmed himself throughout multiple years. Personal footage, parties, sexual encounters, studio sessions, confrontations. Over 140 hours of raw, unreleased tapes. Some of the footage, reportedly seized during federal raids, has never been shown publicly.
Now y'all know that footage that where Diddy is behind the scenes talking to his lawyer and all of this stuff, and people like, damn, what was Diddy recording it? Well, Diddy was recording it because he thought he was about to beat the case. So he wanted to do a Netflix documentary. Didn't pay the guy, and then 50 got all 140 hours of footage of secret Diddy tactics.
A blurred out law enforcement source states, it's not what's on the tapes that matters. It's why he kept them. It's leverage, insurance, control. The screen cuts to black and text appears. All 140 hours remain in federal custody. None have been released. Moments later, a single Instagram post flashes on screen. 50 Cent's cryptic message posted just hours after the episode premiered. He filmed himself. That's all I'll say. The episode ends with a slow montage of mirrors. Diddy in luxury hotel rooms, fixing his cufflinks, smiling into reflections. The narration whispers, he documented everything. But in the end, the camera became his witness. As the credits roll, the screen fades to a grainy shot of a VHS tape labeled Private 2006, followed by a quiet hum of security footage. Then, silence. If episode 2 detonated the bomb, then episode 3 was the aftershock that no one could escape. The moment Official Girl dropped on Netflix, social media went from disbelief to collective outrage. Within hours, hashtags like Diddy tapes, hashtag Official Girl Netflix, and Cassie Truth dominated every major platform. Fans, journalists, and even former collaborators flooded timelines with a single chilling sentiment. This is beyond disturbing. It wasn't just the content, it was the tone. The previous episodes had been historical, analytical, and cautious. Episode 3, by contrast, felt like a confession tape from an industry that had been complicit for far too long. By sunrise, the clip of Lil Rod's chilling quote, he wasn't just recording music, he was recording everything.
Saying that they was getting their ass taken, bro. Multiple times.
kept partying. You owe you some money? I mean, you know. Yo, what the is going on in this world, bro? Said I woke up with females in the bed. Then I woke up and Diddy was in the bed. What was Diddy doing in the bed, bro?
Had been shared over 40 million times across TikTok and X, formerly Twitter. Reaction videos showed creators visibly shaken, some in tears, others whispering, "How did this stay hidden for decades?" TikTok creators broke down the timeline of Cassie Ventura's lawsuit scene by scene, syncing old red carpet footage with new revelations. One viral video compared her forced smiles during interviews with Diddy to court statements about coercion. The caption read, "We thought she was living the dream. She was surviving it." Hashtag Cassie Ventura trended for 3 straight days, surpassing Free Britney's engagement during its peak. Survivors across social media began using the hashtag #WeHearYouCassie, turning the episode into something larger than pop culture. It became a reckoning for silence in entertainment itself. For the first time, former collaborators and insiders began publicly reacting to the documentary. Some confirmed details that had long been whispered. Others vehemently denied them. Aubrey O'Day, whose segment had already stunned viewers, posted a follow-up video on Instagram Live. Tearfully, she said, "Watching it felt like being 23 again. I kept my mouth shut for years, thinking no one would believe me. Now the world sees why." Within hours, the post had over 1 million views and hundreds of supportive comments from fans and fellow artists. Meanwhile, Faith Evans posted a cryptic message on X. "Sometimes, truth takes too long to come out, but it always finds its way." Fans immediately interpreted it as quiet solidarity with Cassie and the other women featured in the documentary. But not everyone stood behind the doc. Mario Winans, a longtime Bad Boy producer, pushed back in a now-deleted tweet, writing, "Don't let editing fool you. I never saw anything like that. Puff was demanding, not demonic." His defense, however, only fueled further speculation. Many saw it as loyalty born out of fear, not truth. Even Jennifer Lopez was dragged into the conversation as clips from the 1999 nightclub shooting resurfaced online. Fans re-examined her old interviews, searching for subtle hints of what she might have seen or chosen to ignore. If episode 3 was the explosion, episode 4 is the aftermath, the smoldering ruins of an empire once thought untouchable. Aptly titled Blink Again, this finale isn't just about Sean Diddy Combs' legal downfall. It's about the reckoning of a man, a myth, and a movement that defined an era of American fame. The episode begins in stark contrast to the flash and swagger of early Bad Boy days. Instead of champagne and flashing lights, the camera opens on federal courtroom footage. Muted tones, emotionless faces, and the once unstoppable mogul now in handcuffs. A voiceover from director Alexandria Stapleton sets the tone. For decades, he told the world he couldn't stop, wouldn't stop. But in this courtroom, he finally did. The jury found Diddy guilty on 2 counts of violating the Mann Act, transporting individuals, including 2 male sex workers, across state lines for illicit purposes. He was sentenced to 50 months in federal prison, with 12 months time served. From there, the doc pivots into the intricate chaos surrounding the trial. Over 100 civil suits, witness intimidation rumors, and mountains of newly surfaced evidence. The camera alternates between news coverage and quiet, devastating shots of fans taking down Diddy posters from their walls. For the first time, Blink Again gives voice to the jurors themselves. Their interviews, shot in shadow for anonymity, reveal the emotional turmoil behind their verdict. Connections between Porter's death and sealed lawsuits against Combs, filed in 2019. If Season 1 was the collapse, Season 2 is the excavation, peeling back what remains buried beneath fame, grief, and fear. The teaser closes on a single haunting visual. Kim Porter's